Hi everybody and welcome to Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey here. Well, you'll have to excuse me doing a video from home and not doing one from up the woods at the moment. For those of you that don't know me, I'm just recovering from having a kidney removed. And so I'm only sort of 3 weeks into that, so I've got to go easy at the moment. So I thought, well, how do I break things down? Let's get back into a nice friendly video. Let's chat about mindset because let's face it, in all my years of training and experience, one of the things that's most important to us all is training this. If you're looking at survival, prepping, wild camping, whatever you do, the first tool that you need in your box to make you efficient is this, the old noggin, the brain. And we can train that. We can make that react in certain ways. So today what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk about mindset, and I might show you a couple of items that I've recently been sent. Guys, enjoy the video. Let's get on with it. Hi guys, Mickey here. Yeah, I'm still stuck indoors. There's not a lot I can do. So prepper time. Woohoo! Preparing. Before we start, can I just say my prayers and thoughts to all those people in California and in the UK also. Everybody that's been hit by the disasters that are going on around the world at the moment, my heart goes out to you. And again, one of the things I've got to say about being a prepper, it's not always an advantage. Okay, sometimes the events and the situation can overwhelm your preps, what you're prepared for. And in those situations, okay, lady luck is your best friend. That's an awful thing to say, but first rule of survival is luck. Did you come through the initial event, and now what do you do to save yourself? So my heart goes out to those people, um, and anybody that is a follower of the channel that's been caught up in it. I really feel for you. So mindsets. What do we do about mindsets? Well, coming away from that, the best advantage you can give yourself for any situation is A, know your environment, know your risks, and prepare for it mentally. How do we do this, you say? Oh, first of all, is assess what the actual risks are to you in your area, the risks that you know about, the risks that you can do something about. Do you live in an industrialised area? If you do, what are they producing around you? Okay, are those chemicals or those items they're producing liable to become a risk? And in what situation would they become a risk? Okay. If you're living somewhere where you're prone to flooding and around the corner there is a metal plating company, you know there's going to be a high amount of chemicals possibly released into that floodwater that you're not going to want to come into contact with. Okay. Things like mercuries, cadmiums, acids, so on. Okay. Things to stay away from. You're also going to know that you're not going to be water purifying that water in any way, form, or manner. Too risky. So you prepare for that. If it's a fire risk, again, are those chemicals dangerous? Do they produce fumes and that? How can I protect myself from that? Well, one of the things you can do to protect yourself from that is turn your house into an NBC centre or biological chemical centre. Houses are pretty good. Roofs are designed to keep rain off. Rain is a liquid. It sometimes comes in mist form. Funny enough, it doesn't come through the roof. It runs off the roof. Brilliant, say. So you know your house is fairly waterproof. So what you're going to do is you're going to go around and block all your vents. Now, that sounds counterproductive, but you're going to go around and block your vents. And you can run around with a roll of 2-inch duct tape, seal the windows, seal the vents, seal the frames. Okay? Anywhere there's a gap, anywhere there's a draft coming in, just seal it. Round the doors, seal it. Okay? That's going to prevent chemical ingress, or it's going to reduce it drastically. Drop to the centre of the house or a room in the centre of the house, make yourself comfortable, sit and wait. Okay? Now, if you know there's a risk of that sort of thing near you, you suddenly look out and you see that factory's just started catching fire and the smoke's blowing away from you, Better than that, grab the dog, grab the wife, into the car, get yourself away. Yeah, get yourself out of that risk. Same thing as if you know flooding's coming to your area. If you're told to evacuate, evacuate. Get yourself out. Simple as. Okay. If there's a high risk, if they turn around to you and they say that dam up there's going to burst, get gone. Okay. Grab as quick as you can your bag with the items that you've already preset, as I explained in previous videos. Get gone. Get yourself out there. Your life's worth more than almost anything else you have. So again, it's in that mindset. It's that prep mindset. Look around you constantly. I'm always assessing my situation where I am. And these things change as well. Don't necessarily go, oh yeah, I've been here for 30 years and I know for a fact that Cove Brook hasn't flooded in 30 years. Yeah, I know the Cove Brook hasn't flooded in 30 years, but they're always putting out flood alerts for it. But I also know in 30 years it's not really been managed. It's silting up. The regrowth, and it gets worse year by year by year. Locals throw crap in it. Yeah, whether it be push bikes or whatever, shopping trolleys, they end up in there. And eventually all this ends up washed downstream. It's only got to dam it. And this is what happens to a lot of rivers, a lot of environments. It may look quite normal at the top. You don't realise that silt level's building up. Then you get a flooded period. All that silt's going to move, and eventually it gets to somewhere where it can't go any further, and then it starts to build up, and then you end up with a dam. Okay, you end up with a blockage, which then starts to spread out over an area, or worse still, becomes a huge backwash that collapses and then flash floods an area. So again, don't just because it's never happened think, oh, it never will. Don't panic about it. Okay, be prepared. Think about it. I know for a fact here I'm 5 metres above the brook. I know the other side of the brook is below the brook in height. I know where its floodplain is. It's a very in-depth thing you've done there, Mick. Yeah, I was pretty bored, but I looked it up, looked up the history of the area, when did it last flood and so on, what's it fed by, where's it come from. More than that, I wanted to know what the best escape routes were. So sticking to high ground, getting away. Figured it out. I could be gone before everybody else is trying to block those roads up because they've tried to go around other ways. I also know that where I'm sitting now in this room here puts me 15 metres above the brook. I also know the floodplain area. So I know water level would never in any way whatsoever is going to get to here. I'm safe upstairs then. So push comes to shove, me and Kaz sorted. Settled. That's my mindset towards that. And that's the mindset to adapt to your risk and your environment. That's just mine. I've got really here two risks to me here. One is the flooding. Okay. My second risk to me here is the population. And no, I'm not saying that I'm surrounded by bad people, because I'm definitely not. But it's a highly dense area. There's a lot of people here. This estate has only got 3 ways off of it. If for some reason this estate needs to evacuate, all those people are going to try and take those 3 main routes. So I've already come up with alternative routes, little cut-throughs, little back routes that if need be I can take. Now that sounds pretty selfish, doesn't it? I can get myself out of there. Everybody else. Yeah, it is. And that being because if I'm not in that queue, it's one less in that queue. One less in that queue means that queue is moving one person faster. Okay? And I'm already equipped and prepared to actually deal with the situation and look after myself. I'm not requiring any help from emergency services. That's the thought process behind that. Bit mean, you might say. But again, remove yourself from the risk. But it's also that old thing, when you're told evacuate, evacuate. So if they turn around here, if they put out an evacuation order for this estate, I would evacuate. Even though I've got all this gear here and I could probably sit and sit it out. Mind evacuate. They've got more information than I have. There may be more to the story than you are being told. That's why they're saying evacuate. So again, evacuations, you've got to look at it this way. When the authorities, no matter what they are, local councils, government, whatever, when they say evacuate, This is going to cost them millions. Okay? Millions of pounds that they never want to spend. So they've thought about it and weighed it up and gone, blimey, we've either got to put this in and do with it, or we are going to lose out massively. Okay? Because the risk to life is there. So I tend to say to people and teach people, if you're told to evacuate, evacuate. Now, how can you make your evacuation better? Be prepared. Have your go bags. I've talked about this in other videos. Have items set up, whether they're copies or the originals, set up to go in a bag somewhere so you've got all that documentation, those meds, those bits and pieces that you're going to need ready to go. Because time is essential. In a lot of emergency situations, we are talking minutes, not hours. It is get yourself out. You beat the rush, you beat the panic, you beat all the waffling, you can get away. That's essential. Movement is everything. If you're going to shelter in place, know what you're sheltering against. There are events and situations that are, they're not worth staying there for. Okay. So again, you've got to assess what the risk is, what's liable to happen, and the easiest way to do that: look at what's happened in the world. Look around. Look at places similar to yours that have had these sort of situations occur. How did it progress? What happens? How does the event evolve? What would you do if it happened where you are? Now, this isn't voyeurism. There's a difference between voyeurs in disasters and people that are trying to learn from them. I don't want to see bodies. It breaks my heart to see people who've lost their homes, their livelihoods. That really hits me hard. It makes me upset, makes me angry. But I'm trying to learn so that if it was to happen to me or those around me, I know what to expect. I know what I'm going to have to do. Helps me to appraise the situation. A voyeur sits there and gets jollies at it, finds it thrilling. Well, I'm afraid I don't. I never have done. But I'm also wise enough to know to learn from the events that happen to others. Okay, to try and protect me, my own. What? That's that. That's a bit morose in the end, isn't it? Let's have something a bit interesting. Well, Mickey, how's this week going? Yeah, it's not going too bad, guys. I'm having a great week. In actual fact, I'm having a superb week. You all saw the video, hopefully, last week while I was out on the mobility scooter. I did the short and that. Well, yeah, I knocked myself a bit silly of me. Overdid it a bit. Yeah, put myself in bed for a couple of days, feeling pretty grotty. Yeah, I thought I'd torn a stitch at one point, but turns out I haven't. Just pulled the muscles a little bit, made them work a bit harder than I should have done. Learning curve there, Mickey. Yeah, take your own advice, Mickey. Learn and listen to your own body. But a lovely person sent me a package. I've had a wonderful person sent me a package all the way from Scotland. Aye, came all the way down. So, Jess, you are an angel. I hope you don't mind me showing people, but she sent me a couple of lovely pouches. That one's for me. That one's for Cass. Cass is having that one. So we've got a couple of pouches from Jess, and she also sent me this. And this is, I am so pleased with this. I cannot tell you how happy I am. But look at that. Jess made me a knife out of stone. She napped the stone and made me a knife. That is taking pride of place. That is an absolutely amazing thing. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so very much, Jess. I really, really appreciate that so much. That is taking a very, very proud place in my collection of gear. And I am going to take a great deal of pleasure as well in when I'm doing talks for people and I'm doing demonstrations, in actually being able to pull that out and show people. So look at this. Because I don't have the skill set for napping. I've tried it a couple of times. I'm not that patient with it. So, to have something like that somebody else has created absolutely blows my mind. I'm going to, later in the year, I'm going to have a go at making some basic arrowheads and that. And we're going to have a play with a bow. Why a bow, you say, Mickey? Well, again, because I'm looking at primitive skills. Now, I've got some very good friends within the YouTube world that do archery, and they it fascinates me. My son does a lot of archery. He does a lot of bits and pieces with a bow. Um, it's not something I've ever done a lot of. I was always a shooter myself. Now, we're not allowed to hunt in the UK with a bow. I must point this out now. It is illegal to hunt with a bow in the UK. Okay. However, archery is a good traditional method of surviving. So what I'm saying to you is, if you found yourself in a survival situation, i.e., everything's gone to pot, okay, and you're now having to survive, archery is a go-to. Okay, nobody's going to worry too much about the laws and rules if everybody's starving and you're going out with a bow and providing a bit of scoff. Okay, as long as the situation justifies it. So, is it a skill worth learning? Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. Any skill that can. Let me just let a little dog out. There you go, little dog. Any skill where you're learning a new confidence or a new ability is worth learning, even if it's just going to be used for a sport. So Kaz got me. She was offered some free gifts by Temu. Okay. And one of the things was an archery set. So she got it for me. And that's the arrows. Now I can hear you already going, blimey, that looks lethal. Well, it's not actually metal. It's a rubber tip. Okay. It's just a little rubber tip. They look a little bit naughty. That's the bow. It's a kiddie bow. Okay. Made from bamboo. Prongs are slightly out of balance with one another. But to be honest with you, I was quite impressed with it because although it's not something I would choose to go hunting with, the actual bow itself is quite a thing. It's got not a massive draw on it, but it's made of bamboo. It's got quite a bit of resilience to it. Do you know what could I do with that? I could probably learn, start to progress. So I might be looking at ordering myself a basic bow set. I'll go to my mate Bushcraft down there and have a chat to him about that, see where to start, what to look at, price rise and that. And I might look at actually joining one of the local clubs. I know we've got one near here. It's not too bad. I might go along to Bisley and have a look there. Because again, why not progress skill sets? Why not learn them? The other thing Kaz has done for me, she's sorted me out my slingshot. So Kaz is absolutely brilliant with a slingshot. She always has been. Okay, it's something she practiced with as a girl, played with as a girl, and become really, really good. Me, not so much, because again, from an early age, I had air rifles, shotguns, and rifles, so that was what I used. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get myself a slingshot because, again, exactly the same rules apply. It's an efficient thing for what it is. It's quiet. It's easy to get ammunition for or adapt ammunition for, and it's got a place in the survival world. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean to say I'm going hunting with these things. No, for that would be illegal here in the UK. However, there's nothing to stop me target practicing with it, turning it into a bit of sport, a bit of fun. And if I was ever in a situation in a place where it'd be legal to do so, have to use that to gain food, then so be it. So I would. Now, I hear people say to me, "Oh, slingshot really for hunting?" Well, let's think about this practically. Okay, the slingshot's been used by many different societies throughout the world for hunting and defence for thousands of years. Whether it be from a sling that you swing about your head down to what we could call traditional slingshot now, which is a wide stick with a bit of rubber on it. For small game and vermin, it's very, very efficient. Very, very efficient. It's quiet, and as I say, easy to get ammunition for, easy to use. It's a skill. It's something to practice and become efficient with. So that's something else we'll be doing this year. Mickey will be whacking the end of his thumb with ball bearings and plastic ammunition. It's right, Kaz just come get Willow, who's been punching around my feet going, "What are you doing, Dad? What are you doing, Dad?" And for those of you who don't know, Willow is my little Shih Tzu, and he is. So yeah, learning new skill sets like that. And again, this is a constant evolution of skill sets, knowledge, firelighting. Doesn't matter where you are. And if you're just new to the prepping survival thing, don't get caught up too much in thinking, oh, there's so much to learn. Basically, it breaks down to simple structures. Okay, shelter, fire, water, food. Okay, those are your basics. You want to throw into things like first aid. Then you can look at other skill sets, whether it be learning to shoot, stalk game, track people, whatever you want to add to it. You want a basic understanding of how to build a shelter and how shelters work. And I've got a video coming up on that. Firelighting. You want to find firelighting skills that work for you in the environment and the place you're in. Now, firelighting skills are basics. Okay, they should be alongside shelter and water. Okay, if you've got those three, your progression is quite easy. Food, you know what you like. Simple as that. But again, learning techniques, learning methods, learning different cooking systems. Okay, constantly evolving, constantly learning there, trying different things, and make fun of it, enjoy it. That's the other thing. This is a hobby. Okay, it's not just a skill set; it's a hobby. It's something to do and get pleasure from, and that again is another thing. Don't make it a task; make it a pleasure. Enjoy your learning. Okay. Right, I'm starting to waffle now. I do apologise. Guys, have a great day wherever you are in this wonderful world of ours. Get outdoors, stay safe, have your adventures, have fun, look after yourselves, look after those around you. And as and when I get a little bit better, we will get more stuff up for you. Anyhow, other than that, stay safe, stay happy, love those you do, forgive those you don't. May peace and light be upon you all. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Till next time, Mickey out.